vlog. It has been a pretty quiet month so far, definitely compared to last month. In fact, the last week was abysmal. Hardly any orders came through on the website, and hardly anyone in the shop either. So let's keep our fingers crossed for a better week this week. I have just put in authorization for some more printing. We'll see how we go. If you missed last month's vlog, I had a bit of an issue with my shower steamer boxes that when I got them, I found out that they had somehow managed to alter the QR codes on the box, so that none of the QR codes work, something I didn't even think they would be able to alter because it was actually a PNG picture and not a vector file or something that is easy to, you know, accidentally knock pixels out, and in fact they added them in too. It was a bit of both of our fault. I know some of you were saying that I should definitely get them to reprint the whole lot. You can't, because at the end of the day, as I explained to many people, part of the contract is that I should have scanned. You get sent a proof for you to actually go and proof. So you have to make sure that everything is aligned where you want it, the colors are right, the codes scan. I should have gone through with my little phone and scanned all of those QR codes, not on just one of the prints and expect them all to be right, but every single one of them. So I do actually need to get some more of my little holster boxes reprinted for my soaps. So they sent me the proofs last night. I did also say to them in my sort of correspondence last time, I said, this printing business just takes way too long. I said, you know, the process of me emailing to say I'd like to go ahead and get some more printing to the final, here's your proof, let's go. I said, I'm waiting 24 hours between every single email, and that's not good enough. Like, I'm literally responding as soon as I'm getting these emails. And I accept that I'm not the only person that is emailing them, but I still don't understand why you have to wait 24 hours every time. So even if you get, you know, send it and you say, I would need a quote, you wait 24 hours, you get the quote, you say, yes, please. You have to wait 24 hours for them to say, here's the bill. Then you pay it and you wait 20, you know, it can be a 4 or 5 day process just to get to the point of getting a proof. And this time around, I emailed on Monday morning. By Monday night, I had, this is the price, here's your card if you want to go ahead with it, here's your proof. So it all happened within a very short amount of time. And then this morning I've been able to say, yep, let's go ahead and do the printing. So it should actually now only take about 2 to 3 weeks for me to actually get those boxes. And as you saw, I have gone through with my phone, scanned every single code, even though I knew they printed right on the last lot of boxes. I have scanned every single QR code and I've scanned every single barcode, and everything is looking good to go. So let's hope these boxes come in without any problem. If they do, that's it. It's all over, Red Rover, not going back. Anyhow, let's pack some orders. Now, I did actually get 2 orders come in over the weekend. I have already packed one of them. As I packed it, I then thought, no, you're being silly now. You could have actually packed it on camera. This order has been placed by Rebecca, and she's actually sending it to somebody else as a birthday gift. So I thought I'll actually pack it off camera in case that person also watches the videos. And they should actually, because I'm going to deliver it or send it off today, they should have it before this vlog goes out, but you never know. Things happen, delays happen in the postal system. Their birthday might not be till next week and they may hang on to it. So I didn't want to ruin any surprises. So Rebecca, thank you for the order, and sorry you don't get to see it packed, but I don't want to ruin those surprises. I will get that one wrapped in a moment, but I do also have one here for Monique. I think this is her 3rd order she's placed with me now. She has ordered one of the reed diffusers. So what I'm going to go and do is go and get this one wrapped up into some honeycomb paper, and then I'll do the bit that you all like and show you how I'm going to do my little jigsaw puzzle of getting it into the box. All right, so it's wrapped into some honeycomb paper with a bit of tissue paper on the outside. Of course, we need the reeds to go in there too. She has also ordered a, let's do it in order here. We've got a salt glow bar. So this is one of the Oopsie bars, still absolutely lovely to use. And she's also grabbed a coconut lime bar as well. If you are a fan of coconut lime, this is the very last batch I am ever making of it. I know I've said that several times, and then I get a whole heap of complaints saying, oh, but we really, really like coconut lime and that sort of thing. So I make another batch. And then it's really, really, really slow to sell. So it's not as obviously well loved as everybody likes to make it out to be. So this is the very last batch because the coconut lime fragrance oil has also changed, and it is just an absolute nightmare to soap with, and I don't enjoy soaping with it anymore. So that is the last batch. There are still some if people are interested. She's also ordered a coconut milk and peaches regular lip balm, as well as the red apple Oopsie lip balm. That's the one I forgot to put the sweetener into. That's a nice easy box to pack. Let's get our filler. Oh, I might have to see about bringing in a new box of paper shreds soon. We're down to just under a quarter of a box now, but then like I said, it's been pretty quiet on the orders, especially last week. I think we only got, what did the report say? There were 7 orders that came in, whereas the week before I had 23 orders. So very, very, very quiet week last week. So we've got that one in. We're going to grab a little ray of sunshine, just randomly grab one out of the pots. I had to make up some magnesium oil the other day, and I found these little sprayers in one of my packaging drawers, so I made some little samples up to go in there. So let's get that one all wrapped up with its little stickers and everything. On that one goes. Oh, I don't have a waste basket set up yet. I always have just one of these baskets tucked in under here, so every time I've got little bits of waste bits of paper, I just chuck it in the basket, and every so often go and empty it out into the bin. It just stops all the excess waste building up on the countertop. All right, so now that I've got that one all packed up, we're going to grab out our black paper and the ribbon. We're going to start wrapping them up. There is not a lot of making to do this week. I actually had a really busy week of making last week because it was so very, very quiet in the shop, online and everything else. So I took advantage of having that time to be able to make and do stuff. And I pretty much, I can't tell you how much stuff I made last week. I made so much, packaged so much stuff. All my shelves are now completely full, which does mean that this week I will be doing a lot more focusing on starting to get ready for Christmas. Yes, it is August, not quite the end of August yet, but you know what? It's only a couple more months before people expect me to start selling Christmas sort of stuff as well. And I have that many soaps that I want to make this year for various things, whether it be for general sale, advent calendar, special packs and things like that. And there's only so much space on that cure rack. And you know, everything has to sit there for that sort of 4 weeks. That is just how my recipe is. I know I could discount my water and make the cure process a lot quicker, but that means sacrificing the pretty swirls. So that's just not something I am prepared to do. So I need to be working far enough in advance that I can make sure that I have always got space on that cure rack, and make sure that I get everything done. I also need to make some of the white label soaps because I've either run out or very low on some of them. That means one of the things today we'll be doing is actually filling up the oil tank, because that is completely empty. I emptied it last week. I filled it up last week, emptied it last week, so I'll be doing that. I do have a couple of soaps over on the bench over there to be unmolded as well, part of the Christmas stuff. I do have, I know I said I wasn't going to do it, but I do have one Halloween soap in mind to do as well. So that will be one of the sort of first soaps I try to make this week, because Halloween obviously comes before Christmas, but I am not going all out with Halloween this year. I'm literally going to make one soap, and that is going to be it. And then also we'll see what else I get done. I need to start working on putting together some of these things that I will be doing for Christmas, so that I'm not trying to get everything done in September and October. But that is Monique's all wrapped up. Going to go and wrap Rebecca's up, and then we'll fill up that oil tank with soap oil. All right, so a bit of a change of plans for today. You know when you have something in mind that you know something's running out, but you kind of don't realise just how run out you really are? Well, I've done that with my coconut oil, haven't I? So I can't fill my tank up because I need at least 6 kilos of coconut oil. There's not 6 kilos in there, but because I can actually see the bottom of my tin as well. So I do need to bring in a box of coconut oil with me tomorrow, but I have got some oil in there, which I am emptying right now. What I do have to do is I actually do have to make up a little batch of pure coconut soap, like 100% coconut oil soap. I bought these tiny little molds. I was paying attention, but I wasn't paying attention. I was after a little ghost mold. I had quite a number of them up on my screen. I was looking at them all. I really liked the design that this particular mold came up with, and I just completely forgot to check the size, and they are tiny. Now I did make some up using my regular, my goodness, it's chucking down with rain. I did make up some with my regular soap, and although a couple of them did mold really nicely, not all of them did. So I thought, because they are so small, I'm actually going to make these up in 100% coconut oil. So not only will it give me a beautiful white soap, they'll also be really nice and hard. So I should be able to unmold them out of these without damaging them. So I'm going to make up enough. I only need like 50 grams of coconut oil, so obviously got enough in there. I'm going to make that up. I am going to also make up some soap dough. I need to make up some white and some light pink. I did make some light pink the other day, and it's just completely the wrong color, and it looks absolutely terrible. So I'll save that for another project, but I need to make some more white and some light pink. So I'll make that up with that coconut oil, and then tomorrow I will bring in a big box of coconut oil and actually fill that tank up. I've got some people outside looking at the heat packs. I might just put my music back on. I know they've carried on their way. It is absolutely bucketing down. Ugh. Look at that miserable weather out there. It is absolutely teeming it down, looking so miserable. I'm just gonna shut the door again for a little bit. I have just had the door shut because the PFD food delivery truck was out the front, and they leave, well, I've actually come to the conclusion it's not actually their truck that they're leaving running, it's the refrigerator system that they leave running. And when it's sat out the front of my shop, he's literally there for about 15 to 20 minutes delivering food all the way down the other end of the street because they don't have a loading zone down there. And he sits there for 15 to 20 minutes, and the sound of this truck, it just fills my entire shop. You can't hear the music or anything. So I always have to shut my door because it just drives me bonkers. But so to have just had the door shut, I'm going to get it back open again because I have had a few people coming through the door, and I'm going to start preparing all these little soapy oil things. And then this afternoon, because I really don't have a lot to do, I'm probably going to pull out the soap dough box and start making some of the other embeds that I need to make. Sorry, I just thought that was overflowing then for some reason. It's just slowed down its flow. So that's going to be the plan for the rest of the day. I think this rain is absolutely set in for today. So hopefully it doesn't scare too many people off. And maybe, because it's a little bit cool, we'll be selling a few heat packs today. Right, I have just closed my door up a couple of minutes early. It is wet and it's miserable out there. Everyone has disappeared. I've only actually had 4 customers come into the shop today, but they all had really good average spend. So it's not been a terrible day. So I'm pretty happy with how the day has gone. I'm actually just trying to find out what the temperature is. Oh, that's why it felt cold when I went outside. It's only 17 degrees, well, it's 16.8 degrees out there. It does have a real nip in the air, which is why I think everyone has disappeared for the day. I have not had nearly as much of a productive day as what I had hoped I would have. I did decide to start filling up the oil tank, and I have written down, I knew I was going to do this, I have written down somewhere how much coconut oil I had. How much I need to put into the tank. Where have I written it down? Oh, I'm gonna have to find, there it is. Oh, otherwise that was gonna be a whole tank of oil wasted then. Oh, I'm gonna actually write it down in several places so that I don't forget. Oh, it's just been one of those days. I have got that tank all filled up with all the other oils, and I know that I need to put in just over almost 4 kilos worth of coconut oil in that tomorrow. In fact, we'll say it on here. I need to put in 3,729 grams of coconut oil. So if I do lose my bit of paper, it is on here for me to go back to. Oh, I almost had a real panic attack then. I've given up with those little ghosts. I think because I'm trying to only make 50 grams worth of soap, and because coconut oil notoriously moves really, really quickly, I'm not going to be able to make them. I can't mix it for long enough to make sure that we've got that full emulsification of lye and oils. I did think I should be able to use that heat transfer method, you know, using the hot lye to melt down the coconut oil and make them. And I think even if I just use the traditional cold process method rather than the heat transfer method, I still don't think I've got enough coconut oil in my container to use the stick blender and not accelerate the trace to the point that it's basically soap in my piping bag. And as I was piping into those little molds, I could actually see the separation of the oil and the lye and the soap that had emulsified. So they're just not going to be safe to do. So what I'm going to have to do is do what I should have done in the first place and make some with some soap dough. So that's what I'm going to hopefully do during the week. My soap dough oils had cooled down enough that I was going to be able to do my soap dough oils. So I wanted to split it out to do some pink and some white. And whenever I do white, I've always found it best to actually make my white separately to all the other colors. And instead of using titanium dioxide already dispersed in water, I generally add the TD into the lye water. I'll show you tomorrow when I actually remake it. I separated my oils for the 2 colors, and I'm thinking I don't think there's quite enough oil in this pot, but you know, it's a big jug, I might just be misjudging it. So I made the pink and I got this perfect color pink, looked really beautiful, and then I went to pour out the rest of the oil for the whites, and sure enough, I was short. And I'm sitting there thinking, what on earth have I done? And I've looked at the recipe and I've realized when I weighed out all my hard oils, I looked at the grams that I was meant to be putting in. And then when I looked to do the soft oils, I looked at the percentages. So I was actually creating a 500 gram batch, and I basically put in enough of my soft oils for a 100 gram batch. So it lye heavy, had to throw away the pink, had to throw away the rest of the oils because I had no idea. Well, I could have just added in a bit more of the soft oils, but I just thought, right, stop making stuff and just potter around for the rest of the day. So that's what I've basically done. I didn't get a chance to play too much with the soap dough because a few things did come up, which I will share with you later on. But for now, it is now 4 o'clock. I have got my 2 parcels here that are gonna go to the post office. Hopefully the drive home isn't too bad with all of this rain and horrible weather that is out there. But I'm gonna head home and then I'll be back in the shop tomorrow for what will hopefully be a much more productive and easy flowing day. Oh, so Miss Pepper woke me up this morning. We just walked up the big hill. It is not looking particularly nice. It's been raining all night. There is a bit of clear sky down there. So we'll see what the day brings us. But for now, we're going to go, not on the road. We're going to go for a sniffari, aren't we? We don't cross here. We cross further down, off the road. Good girl. All right, let's go do the sniffari. All right, cross. Good girl. Come on. I know. He just stood still. Nothing like being chased like the plovers. If you just shut up and be quiet, no one would know you're there. All right, what a start to the morning. As you saw, Pepper and I got attacked by a plover. They've started nesting a little bit earlier. We were only walking there a couple of days ago and there were no plovers attacking. But this one decided, nope, it was going to attack. And as we got to the end of the street and we came around the corner, we bumped into Deja and her dad. And I said to him, just so you know, there's a plover around the corner and it is attacking. And he says, oh, that's right. He said, we've just been attacked by another one. I said, where was that one? He says, up by the church. I went, okay, so I'm going to have to try and get around here. I got up to where the church was and thought, right, we'll be able to walk. Instead of getting up to where the grassy bit is, where I suspected the bird was, I should be able to cut across and go around. No. We got up there and this plover it went nuts. It didn't even give the warning. It just started flying and attacking at us. So I'm trying to get Pepper up through this bit of grass. It's full of water. My shoes were soaked. My feet are now cold. I'm trying to get her away from this attacking bird. And I've got up to the road and I thought I might be able to just go all the way around the park on this side of the road. No, the bird was not having any of that. So I'm trying to get Pepper and I across the road. And it was actually quite busy for that time in the morning. And it all cleared and then I noticed there had been a white van sitting at the T-junction and she pulled out. And she just thought it was great entertainment. So this area at that time of day is about 40k. Down that bit of road. She must have only been doing about 20 kilometers per hour and she was just watching us getting attacked by this bird and can see that I'm trying to get across the road before the bird actually attacked. They'll give you several warning swoops and if you don't get out, that's when they'll actually get you, and they've got little poisonous barbs on them and apparently they really, really hurt if they do get you. So she can see I'm trying to get across the road and she's just poodling along in her van watching us. And it's like, drive, just drive. She drove by and then Pepper and I were actually able to then get across the road and we had to walk up the other side and this bird was squawking his head off. So we got up far enough past the parkland and back over across and carried on walking up the footpath. And then I actually don't know what her name is. She's this beautiful Malamute dog. Isn't it interesting? We all know the names of the dogs usually and never the owners, but I actually don't know the name of this Malamute. I know all the other dogs' names, But she's absolutely beautiful. So I stopped and spoke to her and her owner. They actually live in our street. And I warned her that there were plovers. And she said, oh, we might walk the other way then and go down by the lake and stuff. So yeah, it's nice that we all warn each other that the birds are out there, but it definitely made for an interesting walk. And Miss Pepper was so confused why I was squealing because I know they're meant to hurt, and not letting her go and check her P-mails down by the church. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be no Wednesday church service until these birds have moved on either, because he was a cranky one. But anyhow, I am now down at the shop. I've got my coconut oil here, so I'm going to put the coconut oil I need into my tank. I'll actually put it into a bowl, melt it down, and then pop it into the tank. I didn't make the lye water yesterday, so I'll make that. I'll make up the soaping oils for the soap dough, and then we'll see where this day actually goes. But I need to go and get this lot put away and get that door open. All right, I have just finished making some little candy cane embeds using some soap dough, and so many other ideas have just popped through my head while I was making them. They were a little bit difficult. They looked relatively easy to do, but they were a little bit difficult in that if you rolled them too hard, they would snap. So you had to get that really good consistency to make sure you got the nice twirl. It's all held together and looks good. But I have got all of those done. I've got the idea in my head now for the soap. I figured if I was making the embeds, I knew what I wanted to do, but I couldn't come up with the plan. And now that I've got the embeds done, the plan was kind of building in my head. So I'm going to make that this afternoon, but I'm not going to be filming this one. It is part of a special set of soaps that I'm making, and I don't want to ruin the surprise completely. So I'm going to hopefully do that this afternoon. It has just gone 12 o'clock, so it's almost my lunch time. But before I have some lunch, I do have an order that's come in from Louisa, so we're going to get this one packed. Louisa has gone ahead and ordered some of the room and linen sprays. These aren't actually available in the shop. They are made to order, so they're only online. So whenever they come in, I am making these ones up fresh. I just simply don't have the space in the shop to be putting them, and they are a pretty slow mover. To be honest, I think once these metal bottles have gone, I'm going to reevaluate whether to keep room sprays in the mix or not. But we've got two here. We've got the sandalwood and clove and the lime, basil and mandarin. So pop those in there. I'll grab some paper shred. I did recently change my room sprays because they weren't selling very fast, and I'd always had the same sort of scents in the range, so I decided to bring them out in a slightly smaller bottle so I could do them at a cheaper price, and then to also change the scents according to the seasons. And I was hoping something new and exciting like that might improve the sales of the room sprays, but they just simply haven't. I did make the summer range up to have in the shop. There's our little ray of sunshine. I did make that up to go in the shop, and then I think I finished selling the summer range at the beginning of June, so they don't even sell in store. So I am seriously considering whether room and linen sprays are something to keep in the range or not. We'll see what actually happens, but I still have quite a few of the little bottles to use up. I think one of the problems is, let's grab that little sticker on there. I think one of the problems is my room sprays they're not super expensive, but they're not as cheap as some other places. And that was because I tried to go down the whole environmental aspect of things. You know, there was this really big push a few years ago for everyone to be really environmentally friendly. There still is that push, and I do agree that we should try to be wherever we can. But one of the biggest obstacles I have found with being environmentally friendly is that it is not cheap. It is not cheap to be environmentally friendly. Those aluminium bottles do cost more than the plastic bottles. They can be reused, they can be emptied and cleaned out and then reused for other purposes. If you're local, you can bring them back and I can refill them and things like that. So I did try to do that. But unfortunately, because of the cost of the bottles, it does turn everyone off from buying the room sprays. And because of that, I do actually have them at a much lower retail price than what I probably should have them at, but I do that because they are also relatively easy to make up and don't take much time, so I don't have to cost too much of my time into the price. But I think because of all of that, it's just not, they just don't sell. And I don't know if I bring them back to plastic bottles, if that's going to help, because then that kind of goes against that environmentally friendly aspect of them. But we'll see. There's lots of decisions to be made for next year. It is something that will get looked at for next year, whether to continue making them or just to can the idea of them all together. We will see. We'll wait and see what happens. But we've almost got Louisa's all wrapped up. I'm going to finish getting this one all tied up into the little postal satchel, and then I'm going to go and have a little bit of think about what I'm going to have for lunch. I'm pretty sure I've got some noodles in my drawer. We didn't have any leftovers from dinner last night, so there was no leftovers for lunches today. So luckily I do have I think there's a tin of tuna in my drawer, and there is also some noodles. So I might make some noodles up and mix some tuna in, and that will be my lunch for today. And once I've had a bit of lunch, then I am going to come and work out how I'm going to make this this soap that I have now got building in my head. So I am going to go and do that, and I will show you what I can later.
Evacuate now. Evacuate as directed. Evacuate as directed.
Certainly proving to be an interesting day. Alright, thankfully they've turned the noise off. I can hear the fireys coming up the street. Usually it's a false alarm up at the hotel. It could be someone smoking where they're not meant to smoke, or any number of things. Someone's thrown something in the bin. Anything could happen, but I tell you what, it's always really nerve-wracking, because you think if there really is a fire, all this is gone and all of my business is practically out the door. It is one of the sort of things that nobody tells you when you do take on a shop front like this, is that if it does go up in flames, you are most likely going to lose your business, even if you are insured, because the chances of trying to recover from it, you've got no stock left. So it's always very, very concerning, but it's also one of those things of, here we go again. This one every couple of months, I'm telling you. But anyhow, it does look like it is all over. So I am going to go and get on with making these Christmas soaps, or one batch of these Christmas soaps. An absolute mammoth task. I am about to head home. We'll grab my keys out of there now, pop that in there. I've got my order here, which needs to be dropped off at the post office. I did make the soaps over there. Reason I'm actually not showing them is because they are for a little surprise set coming for Christmas, and I don't want to ruin the surprise, and I also don't want people copying this surprise. Like, I don't know of anyone else who does it, but I thought I would do it this year. That's all I'm going to say on it. My hair's falling out now. It's taken me 2 hours to make those soaps. That is an absolute mammoth task. Not even a slab of rainbow soap takes me 2 hours to make. It usually takes me about an hour to make a slab of rainbow. But those ones there have taken me 2 hours. But the shop smells amazing. They're looking really good. I'll be back in tomorrow. I'll be cutting those again, not on camera though. Tomorrow I do have a couple of other things to do outside of soaping. We'll try and get a little bit more footage tomorrow. I've had a few people in the shop today. It does make it a little bit harder to do the recording. So we might actually have a true short vlog this month. We'll see how things go, but I am really, really tired. So I have got everything I need. I am going to head on home. It's still a lovely day out there, so I might be able to have a bit of a play with Pepper before I go home, before I actually have to go in the house and cook dinner. So I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. All right, good morning. It is Thursday. It's grey, overcast and raining. I drove in, there was no rain. I've just come in, taken all my stuff downstairs to the basement bins, and I've come back upstairs and it is now raining. So, oh, it's not going to be a very nice day. We'll see how many people brave the weather and come outside. Before leaving, I did get an order come through from off the DIY body care website. And then just as I got out of the car, I spotted 2 more orders that have come through on Soy and Shea, which I'll go and get packed in just a moment. One of those is for William and the other is for Rebecca. And I'm pretty sure William's melt subscription renews today or tomorrow. I've got some that do the 20th and some that do the 21st. So we'll get those packed a little bit later. Just going to get myself a little bit sorted out here. All right, so we've got a load of washing up to do out the back. I do have a couple more embeds I want to make today. I've got those soaps to cut today. Hopefully they've all worked out. And I did say yesterday as well, I've got a couple of things I actually need to make today which are not soap related. So I'm going to get on with doing those. My microphone's annoying me today. Let's pop it up there. What I do want to quickly show you before I go and get my door open. So yesterday I made some of the soap dough, and I showed that when I make my white soap dough, if I'm not being, not technically lazy, but if I don't have lots and lots of colours to make, and I know I specifically want to make white, I do try to make my white separately. So I pull the oils and the lye off and just make my white and put my titanium dioxide into the lye water. If we get my other bucket of soap dough here, I can show you why. So this last lot of white that I did, where are you? Here you are. This is the last lot of white I did. I was doing lots of colours, so I just decided to add titanium dioxide that was dispersed in water into the mixed up soap oils, because I also didn't need a lot of it. And it does still make a good soap dough, but it's actually quite, it's a lot softer, and it does get quite sticky and leaves that white soap dough on your hand. It does dry out just as well as any of my other soap dough, but I do find I then have to constantly wash my hands when I'm using the white because I get it all over me. But you know, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just because the soap dough recipe uses such a high water content, and then I'm putting more water in with that titanium dioxide, so it does make it go that sticky sort of colour. Let's get that bit off me. So what I do prefer to actually do is put my titanium dioxide into the lye water, and then when it makes up, it's not as sticky and it's more pliable like my other soap dough, and it doesn't stain the hand as much. So I did make my white soap dough up the way I probably always should. If I've got time this afternoon, I'm going to try and make some little ghosts to go on to a little Halloween soap. But that white soap dough's looking really nice. I usually like to leave it a couple of days before working with it, but we are at this sort of nitty-gritty end of the year, and I just don't have the privilege of waiting and having patience at the moment. So I'm going to go and get my door open, and then I'm going to start picking the orders. We'll get them packed, wrapped, and I will then take each bit at a time. I'm feeling pretty tired today, very, very short of breath today as well. So we'll see how things go. I also need to get the battery charged on the camera. I didn't realise it was so low. But I'm going to go and get my door open. really am not being very productive today. I've got a feeling I am coming down with the cold that my husband has had for the last few weeks. I just feel really, really drained, struggling to keep my eyes open, got a cracker of a headache, struggling to breathe. Not what I need at this time of year, but we'll see what happens. Sometimes I just feel like this for a day and then I'm feeling fine again afterwards. We'll see. But I'm going to stop and have a little bit of lunch in a moment. But before I do that, I'm going to pack William's order. His monthly melt edit did come through as well. I've left that in this basket. I have actually packed the other order that came through from Rebecca. But like with the one that she placed the other day, this one is also a gift. So I'm not going to share it on camera, just in case they see it and they haven't received the parcel as of yet. But we will get on and pack William's order. There's not as many soaps in here as what he usually orders, but I'll show you what he's got. So we'll start off by doing the monthly melt edit. We'll leave that one till last. It was a coffee shop inspired one. So we've got some bubble tea. We've got the green tea and lemongrass. We've got green chai. So the green tea and lemongrass is quite a nice, fresh, uplifting fragrance. Your green chai is a little bit more spicy in scent. I did morning coffee and also fudge brownie, because you have to have some sort of treat when you go to the coffee shops. Let's get these in here. Now, every fourth renewal, or when people subscribe for a new one, there is usually a bonus melt. So this month being August, a division of 4, there is the bonus one for those renewing for a 4th time, and it is going to be sparkling water because, well, most of us have a glass of water while we're also at the cafe. Just went and got the little sticker here. So I'm going to get this one wrapped up. I do also wrap this up in the paper and the ribbon. So I will do that and then I'll come back and pack the rest of William's order. All right, so I've got the monthly melt edit all wrapped up, ready to go. I've just grabbed another box. Hopefully I've picked the right box size out. I have also managed to find another box. You know how normally in a lot of the vlogs I've got the next size box up from this and then another one up from that, and quite often it's too big to go in that box, in the first box, but too small for the next box. Well, I have actually found myself another size box to go in between, but as yet haven't had to use it. All right, let's get the monthly melt edit in. We're going to grab our little list so I can cross them off as I go. William has ordered the lemongrass and Persian lime reed diffuser, so I'm going to go and wrap that up in some honeycomb paper. All right, so we've got that one wrapped up in its paper there. Let's pop that like so. Now, of course, we've got soaps to go in here. We've got 2 of the banana smoothie. William loves this soap. The last time it got released, he ordered 10 bars of it. I do have another slab of it sitting on the cure rack, which will hopefully be ready very, very soon. What else have we got in here? We have got the berry cocoa. We also have a pine tar from the Claytanicals. I love that soap. We have got one of the lemon honey turmeric Claytanicals, and then he's grabbed 2 of our new Dead Sea Mud soaps. I really like that, and as I said in the video that went out about it, I can't believe it's been so long since I made that soap. I'm actually going to pop them in that way because we also need to pop in the reeds to go with the diffuser, and they will sit in just nicely like so. No, maybe they won't. Oh, that's right. I just need to swap these over, I think. My reeds should actually be 25 centimeters long, and there are actually a couple that are in that lot which are 26, and they don't fit in my boxes. So I'm just going to put the 25 centimeter ones in like is meant to be in there. And then he's also ordered the Scent Discovery, of which is 3 of the 5 ml perfumes. My head just feels very, very iffy right now. It's not working. All right, so let's get those in here. Just gonna, don't want to do the bag up too much because it takes up a lot of bulk. I actually do want to get some boxes made up to put the scent discovery into. If it becomes something really popular, we'll see what happens. So we'll pop those in like that, just making sure that they're going to be nice and safe. They should be safe like that. Now, as a Pamper Club member, he is also getting a 5ml sampler of the perfume too. So we're going to pop that in there, and he selected Surprise Me on all of those. So I do hope you like the surprise. There's not a lot of fill space, but we will still put some in there. I am also going to grab a little ray of sunshine that can tuck in nicely just there. And out of the box, I have grabbed the magnesium oil there. Now I need to go and get my little thank you card. All right, so I've got my little thank you card all written up as well. My head is really just not happy. So what I'm going to do for the rest of the afternoon, I'm going to go and get my lunch because I'm hungry, but I'm not hungry, which is a very key indicator that I'm not well. But what I'm going to do, we'll go and get Williams all wrapped up in the paper. I'm going to eat my lunch, or as much of the lunch as I feel like eating. I'm then going to have a very quick tidy up because I've got bits and pieces sitting all over the place. Like I've got soaps I've unmolded and the molds are just sitting on the side, and I've done a couple of tester products that I'm working on, so I've got to go and clean up all of that. So I'm going to have a little bit of a clean up, and then I think for the rest of the afternoon I am just going to kind of just sit here with my box of soap dough and make some little soap dough embeds for the soaps that I need to do, because I will not be happy with hubby if he has shared this one with me. Not happy at all. It's funny because years and years ago, you know, when we first met, he used to get sick all the time. Every month he would have a cold. It was just, I'd never known someone to be so sick. But I never, ever, ever caught what he had. Well, I shouldn't say never. I very rarely caught whatever it was that he had. And if I did catch whatever he had, oh my goodness, I went down with it, because having the autoimmune diseases, you know, your body's constantly attacking anything that comes in, and if it can't attack whatever's come in, it usually means it's pretty bad, and I don't suffer. And for years, you know, it was fine, and then he got really good and he stopped catching every single bug. It's just part of working in the hospitality industry at the end of the day. But he stopped catching every single bug out there, and he went for quite some time where he wasn't sick. But since moving up here to the Sunshine Coast, even just before we moved to the Sunshine Coast, he started catching every single bug that was going around. But the difference is this time he tends to share all the bugs that he's catching, and they get me a real good one when a bug can actually get through my little defense system. But anyhow, it is what it is. We're almost at the weekend, so it means I can have a few days relaxing. But there it is, we've got Williams all wrapped up. I'm going to get it into its little satchel, going to have some lunch, and then we'll get on with the rest of the day and just see what I can actually achieve for the day, because I don't want it to be a complete and utter waste of a day. Oh my goodness, how absolutely gorgeous are these little ghosts? Definitely not what I had in my mind, definitely not what that little mold was, but I am so super happy with how they've come out. I did do a little boo soap many years ago, and I did like the body and then I put a head on it. And one of the problems is when you do your soap dough in multiple parts, they do tend to come off. I know the arms are on separately, but I can actually squish the arms onto the body enough that they actually don't come off and, you know, don't become a problem when I'm actually packaging them. But I'm so super pleased with how that was my original one. This one in the middle, he's a little bit more squat than the others, shall we say. So that was the original one, and then I decided to make all the others very similar to how I would actually make my little gnomes and things like that. So I've got the 6 of them done. I was going to come in early tomorrow to make soap, but because I've not been feeling 100% today, I haven't really done as much as what I was hoping to get done. So I think what I'll do tomorrow is I'll allow myself the sort of, well, I will try to allow myself a sleep in, but Fridays are sniffari days, and Pepper seems to know which are sniffari days, and she likes to wake me up early on these days. So we'll see if she wakes me up or not, but whether she does or doesn't, I might just not come in early tomorrow. I'll just have to kind of accept that I haven't done nearly as much as what I was hoping to get done this week, but I am actually feeling better now, which is good. I feel a bit achy in my back, but I don't feel as sore, like all my throat was sore this morning and stuff like that, and I'm not feeling that way, and I'm not feeling so out of breath either. So hopefully whatever it was this morning has just gone, oh no, we'll leave her alone and let her get on with her Christmas soaps. So I think tomorrow I will come in, I will finish making the little ghost soaps, so I can get ready for making the Halloween soap probably next week. We'll see what else we end up doing. I've got about 7 minutes until the doors close. I've just done all the reporting on the system there. I'm going to go and get myself all put away the bits of soap dough here so that they don't dry out overnight. And then we will be back in tomorrow to create more little ghosts. They are so cute. That Miss Pepper was going to let me have a sleep in this morning. I started to stir, and I knew it was quite early because it was still dark outside, but I did start to stir, and I was aware that hubby was already up getting ready for work, so I knew it was just before 6. I had a sense that Pepper wasn't in the bedroom, and she must have sensed that I was waking up, and I heard her come racing down the corridor, and she come up to the edge of the bed and went, whoa, 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 whoa. And it's like, oh. All right, then I've grabbed my phone. 5:45 in the morning. I was like, sweetheart, I really wanted to sleep in. I really did, but she asked so nicely. I'm feeling better. I'm still feeling a little bit short of breath. Mind you, I have also just walked up the street. Still feeling a little bit short of breath, but I don't feel like I did yesterday. So I thought, all right, let's get out. Let's go and get some fresh air. Let's go and take her for a walk. Yesterday was raining. She didn't get to get outside and play and stuff like that. So I thought, right, we'll take her for a walk. And while we still can, because it might rain on the weekend. And she did really, really well on this walk. We actually went for one that's kind of a midway sort of walk because I was worried about the plovers. But it does look like the plovers have moved from the church and they've been shooed across the road to where the fire station and the men's shed and stuff are. So they're actually over there now. So it does look like we might be able to do the other walk. But I thought, right, we'll do the midway walk instead. We have a short, a long and a midway sort of walk. So we went and did that one this morning and she made really, really good time, which was, she was like, she'd run ahead and she'd sniff and I'd walk past her and then she'd run ahead. So she's getting the hang of that, thank goodness. So we did that. I got home, I had a shower and I thought, you know what? Let's just come down the shop early and attempt to make soap. It didn't go as smoothly as I had hoped. It did move a bit fast. So I have filmed it. I have filmed the making of it. And this one is going to be called Turtle Cove. And look at those super duper cute little turtles running across the beach. But it did move quite quickly on me. So we did go for a bit more of a plop into the mold and hope for the best sort of thing. I'm really, really struggling with the soap making at the moment. I don't know what is going on. I thought I'd figured it out and then that one just... who knows? Anyhow, I have just been up to the reject shop. I needed to go and get some more liquid dish soap. I do tend to use my own solid dish soap for cleaning all my pots and jugs and things like that. But then when I have the bucket of water for my stick blender, I do like to put some liquid soap in there because it's a bit easier to squidge it into a little container. And I do use it for other sort of random things where I don't need the superpower of my solid dish soap. And while I was in there, I spotted they had these awesome jugs. Like under my bench there, I've got 4 different size plastic jugs. You see me using them all the time. And the largest one I have is a 1 litre jug, this one here. And occasionally it's like, it's just not big enough. I just want something a little bit bigger, but I don't need the mammoth jugs that I've got, like this little, I don't even know how much this holds. What does it say on the bottom? 3 litres. I've had these jugs for years. I don't quite need those 3 litre jugs in there. You know, you can't get the stick blender and stuff in. But I just spotted these in the reject shop and they're a 2 litre. They were $3.50 each. So I thought that's pretty good. And I have grabbed myself 6 of them. They do need to have a bit of a wash. We'll keep the receipt so we can claim that as an expense. They do need to have a bit of a wash, so I'm going to go and get those washed out and maybe give them a little bit of a try later on today. We'll see how the soap wants to behave. But I have had an order come in while I was on my way into the shop today. This one has come from Samantha. I'm going to go and pick it, get my little bench cleared off, and then we're going to pack it. I still have about half an hour until the shop opens, and what I'm going to do in that half an hour is make up the little ghosts here. But let me go and get this cleared. We'll get Samantha's order all picked as well. All right, it was a very quick order to go and pick for Samantha. She has ordered 2 of the scented shower steamer discovery set. So that's 1 each of the scented shower steamers. We've got coconut lemongrass, eucalyptus mint, orange goji, water and rainwater, sanctuary, sun-kissed and sweet dreams. Let's get the other 7 in there like so. All right, so let's get our little fill in here as well. We've got our little ray of sunshine to go in there, making sure I've got all of this tucked in. like so. Let's grab a little sampler to go in there too. And then last night we got another delivery come in a little while ago. I had some pens that I got in. I needed to fill my cart up so I could actually place an order with this website. And I threw in these pens that have all got nice little quotes and stuff on them. I thought, I'll get these in. They weren't very expensive. And I was giving them out with orders. And I actually kept one for myself. And can I tell you, they are the nicest pens. Well, I personally think they are one of the nicest pens that I have actually written with for a long time. It writes really nice and smooth, feels really nice in the hand as well. Like, I'm really, really fussy when it comes to pens, and I really, really liked them. So I decided to go ahead and order. This was just some of it that came in last night, but I decided to go ahead and order a whole heap more to give out with orders. Last time I kept myself an orange one, which says it's okay to make mistakes, because I just thought that was perfect. But I love purple, so I'm going to say you are beautiful. Why not? Why not? I'm going to keep myself a purple one this time, because I really do enjoy working with them. I use the one at home a lot, and now I want one down at the shop as well. A little ray of sunshine sitting a little bit too high, but that's okay. All right, got our tape on there. We're going to get this one wrapped up into the paper, and then I still have 25 minutes until the shop door opens. So what I'm going to do is sit here. I need to film myself making at least one of these ghosts to go with the YouTube video that will go out with the Little Boo soap video. So I'm going to sit and do that. I'm getting short of breath again. Oh, I really do hope I am not on a sort of long-winded way to becoming ill. I've done that before, where for days and days and days I just feel like this, and then all of a sudden, bam, it hits me. Especially seeing as we've got plans for next week to go and catch up with family, and I don't want to go near them if I am coming down with something. But anyhow, I'm going to get this one wrapped up. I've also just thought today's the 21st, so we should be getting a couple of extra subscription orders come through, providing no one's cancelled them. I should go and have a look at that in a bit. I should have one come through for the DIY body care website for the formula experience, and I'm pretty sure there is another melt subscription that comes through today from memory. I think it's for Julie, unless hers happened earlier. I don't know, they all move and change. So we should have a couple more to pack up. Around just after 10 o'clock is usually when the subscriptions renew. But that one is Samantha's all boxed up. Let's pop it into its bag, and then I'm going to go and film myself making some more of these little ghosts, and then I'll see if I can actually get the soap made today as well. It just depends how busy it's going to be out in the street as to whether or not I can close the door and have the music off while I talk to the camera. It gets quite difficult filming, and sometimes I get really, really tired when I'm constantly coming in early to do the filming as well. We'll see how the day goes. so I have had to give up on the idea of making any more big loaves of soap, in particular the little Boo one, because it has actually been quite busy this morning. So that's a really good problem to have. Had quite a few people coming in, a few browsers, a few purchases. I have been able to make some little things. So I did make some little rays of sunshine. So I've got those on here. This particular one here, I was actually testing a brand new colour mica that I've had come in, and also testing a fragrance oil in it as well to see what it was going to do. Plus I like to make a batch of the little rays of sunshine every 2 weeks, just to make sure that I have always got them at least a batch, if not, you know, half a batch ready and a fresh batch on the cure rack and a batch in the container, so I hopefully won't ever run out of them. I do get a lot of people asking me if they can buy the little rays of sunshine, and I don't actually sell them. The reason being is because they are something exclusive for online orders. They get included in there as a little bonus to say thank you for ordering online, because it is difficult to order this sort of stuff online. And the other thing is, I make them up as I please. So I have no idea what is going to be made up that week. I have no idea what colours, what scent. I'm using up scents, I'm trialling things and stuff like that. So when people want to buy more, I've had people say, oh, I want to buy some, but I need 4 blue ones, or I need 4 pink ones. It's like, I don't have that, and I want it in this scent. It's like, I don't have that. They really are just made as and when I want them. So I don't sell them, and they are purely for giving away in orders. Sorry, I thought I was going to have some people come in. So I have made some of those. I've got my subscription orders that have come in. Now one of them, this one is actually for another Samantha, so we've had 2 different Samanthas order today. I have actually already packed it. It's from off the DIY Body Care website. The reason it's already packed is because I packed them all in the first week of August. I knew who was definitely going to go through with their orders, so I packed them all up in the boxes, so I just had to grab a box. This month my DIY Formula Experience people got a full bottle of, like a 50ml bottle of the dry perfume oil using the C12 C13 ingredient. Plus they also got a 5ml sample of the version I'm selling, which has the benzyl benzoate in, so they can see which one they would actually prefer to put into theirs. So that is Samantha's in there. I'm just going to grab some of my tape. I really like that Australia Post bought out these extra small satchels, and you can also, as long as it's the right weight, send as an extra small without these satchels. But I do wish they'd bought them out in the mailers, the plastic, well, I'm going to say plastic mailers. They are actually 80% recycled plastic, all the Australia Post ones. But I do wish they'd done that, because these paper ones, oh, I had an incident one day when I was putting some stuff into a mailer and the side split open. I thought, oh dear. So now whenever I do these mailers up, I always put some tape across both of the seams there. And then another day I was putting my my shipping label on, and as I've gone to put my stuff in, I've noticed the label peeling up. So I now also put some tape on it, and I tape it closed as well, just to make sure it gets to wherever it is going. So that one is for Samantha. And then I also had a renewal on the DIY, on the Soy and Shea website, and this one is for Julie, and she has grabbed the monthly Melt Edit subscription. So I got my little box with the paper in there. So I'm going to go fudge brownie. We've got the morning coffee, green tea or green chai, the green tea and lemongrass, and the bubble tea. And because this is Julie's 8th order, so that's the number 4, we're going to get the sparkling water in there as well. So let's get that one all boxed up. I think the next time I get the packs to put these melts into, I might have to find someone else. I really like the quality of the little bags. They're really, really good quality, but they are actually quite thick and not very bendable. And these boxes only just hold the melts in them. I couldn't find anything that was just that little bit bigger that still fit in the extra small. And because these are over 500 grams, I would actually be charged a small if I put them in a bigger box. So I have to get them into this box so I can get it into the extra small mailer and send it off at that price. But I think if I can get back to the original cellophane bags I had, which weren't as thick, I won't have that problem of trying to get them into the box easily. All right, we're gonna get Julie's all wrapped up in the paper and gonna get some ribbon on there and into my mailing bag. Now it is only about 1:30. There's still a lot of people outside and it's still an absolutely gorgeous day out there. So I don't want to start making any of the big soaps that I need to do just in case. Plus tomorrow's only a short day. So I've actually run out of time to be able to make them and leave them in the mold and cut them before going home tomorrow. So I'm not going to make any more big soaps, but I do have lots of soaps that are coming up with embeds. So I'm going to sit here for the rest of the afternoon and I'm going to make a really good go at making as many of the embeds as I possibly can. I have been doing that this morning as well. I've got a few more embeds over there, but I'm going to sit here and make as many embeds as I possibly can so that next week, probably on Wednesday, because Tuesdays are usually always a bit chaotic with packing the weekend orders, hopefully. Plus I've got hubby home on Tuesday mornings. So maybe next Wednesday I will come into the shop super early and make up all of the soaps that I need to. But that is Julie's all wrapped up. I've got more people looking like they might come in, so I'm going to go and get, no, they're going to carry on. No, they're going to carry on, so I don't need to do that. No, they're going to come in. I'm going to get my music back on. Nope, they're going to walk on by. People are right teasers, aren't they? But I'm going to get this done and then I'm just going to sit down and make embeds for the rest of the afternoon and get the shop looking somewhat reasonable for when I come in tomorrow. I have done so much washing up out the back. I've used all my hot water. I'm waiting for the hot water tank to refill so I can finish doing my washing up out the back. I have never done that in this shop. I used to do it all the time in the old studio in Mount Cotton because it was such a small boiler, but this one's a big boiler. I have never run out of hot water in this shop before. So hopefully I'll have some more hot water in about 20 minutes and I can go and finish doing my washing up. And we'll go and get some sort of, oh, I don't know, it looks all a bit chaotic over there. We'll try and get some organisation going. Good morning, guys. I am absolutely shattered. It is Saturday. It's the last day of my working week. I actually did wake up. It was about 4:20 when I woke up for some reason. And I kind of lay there for a few minutes and I thought, no, go back to sleep. It's dark. You know, I could sense Pepper was in the room. Hubby was still sleeping. And I kind of lay there for about 10 minutes. I thought, nah, no good. Have to get up and go to the bathroom. So I did that, come back to bed and I lay back down and then the kookaburra started up. It was like, oh, I'm never going to get back to sleep. Then Pepper kind of realised I was awake. So she was like, hello, hello, hello. It's like, I'm not taking for a walk at 4:30 in the morning. There is absolutely no way we are doing that. So I ended up just thinking, all right, I'm just going to get up because I'm going to disturb hubby if I don't. And I did go to get up, and then hubby got up because I didn't realise he was on his early shift today. So I just went and put my hoodie on and went and sat in the front room, and I started editing videos. And then I thought I actually do need a video for next week. I haven't done it yet. And I wanted to share something, which I will show you in just a moment. So I thought, right, we'll come in early to the shop. I will film that video. And then I'm also just finished doing the cutting video for the Turtle Cove soap. Absolutely love how this one has come up. I really didn't think it was going to work well at all. You'll see in the video in a couple of weeks' time. But really, really pleased with how this one has turned out. But I have also just filmed another video showing my new press for making shower steamers. Now, you may have seen in the July vlog, the press that I bought at the beginning of the year, it broke and it jammed. Even though I've managed to get it somewhat fixed, it jams. It's not pleasant to use. I'm really cross because it was a couple of $100, and it actually broke within 2 months of me getting it. Like there's this little pin in the side of it, and it keeps sliding out, and I keep having to push it in. And to me, that's not acceptable. Like if you buy something, you shouldn't have to keep pushing a integral part of the machine in each, every 5 to 6 shower steamers. But it'd been doing this last month, July, 5 months old. The pin actually fell out completely. I hadn't realised it had fallen out as far as it had. And as I turned around to welcome a customer into the shop, it fell out of the machine, and it took me forever to work out how to get this pin back in, to get a little bit of pressure back onto the press. But it keeps sliding out and it keeps jamming on me. Now, people did say on that last video I should get in contact with the seller on Etsy. And originally I wasn't going to do it because I had contacted him when I first got this press and said that he actually sent me the incorrect molds. Now, it was okay because I had actually decided I could use these molds, but at the end of the day, he still did send me the incorrect molds, and he just didn't really care. His actual response to me was, I get so busy, these things happen. It's like, yeah, I kind of get it, but most of the time you would actually offer to, have 10% off on your next purchase or something. There wasn't even an apology. It was just, I get really busy and these things happen. It's like, so I wasn't actually going to contact him because I thought he's not going to have that level of customer service. But I thought after several people said, no, you should contact him, I thought, you know what, I am going to contact him. I wish I'd listened to my gut instinct and hadn't contacted him at all. He is so rude. I sent him a message, and after 3 days I hadn't had a reply. And all I said was that the pin keeps sliding out. I keep having to push it in. I hadn't noticed how far it slid out. It fell out completely, and I've now lost all the pressure in the machine. How do I fix it? So I wasn't asking for anything. I wasn't rude or anything like that. Just how do I fix this machine? And 3 days later, I haven't had a reply. So I sent him another message, and I said in there that, all I want to know is how to fix the machine. I've also had my viewers see that the machine is broken, and I want to update them on whether the machine can be fixed, whether it's worth getting. And after 7 days, I still hadn't had a reply. And I wrote back and I said, you know what, don't worry about it. If this is the way you want to do it, I'll let my customers or my followers know that you've not responded to me. I was going to buy some of your aluminium molds, but if this is your level of customer care and service, I'm not going to bother. And he then did write back. Within about 12 hours of sending that one, he wrote back. And he said that he'd been on holiday, come back, and then ended up sick. And I said to him, well, why didn't you put either the shop out of, holiday mode, or use the announcement banner to say that you're on holiday or sick and can't attend to messages right now? To which he told me that that would damage his shop's reputation. It's like, you've damaged it more by annoying me. Like, you've done even more damage doing that. And then he said that he didn't appreciate the threats of giving bad reviews. Like, I'm not threatening, it's happened. People have seen that the machine's not working. That's not a threat. This is, I want to update people on your response. And given that your response isn't particularly good, that's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to say something that's not true. He did eventually tell me how to fix the machine, but he says you have to put it back to the starting point and insert the pin. It's like, well, what's the starting point? Like, I don't know what the starting point is. And then he said that I should have contacted him first of all with what my production levels are, because I've obviously bought the wrong machine. And I did say to him, look, I've seen many other creators who make far more than I do and make, you know, things which are more wear and tear on the machine using this exact same make and model. And this broke within 2 months of getting it when I was still in the testing phase, making 5 or 6 shower steamers at a time. Like it was wrong to start with. Like, it's got nothing to do with how much I'm producing. And then his other thing was, as the user, you should be, I can't remember, I've deleted it all because I was just so over him. He said along the lines of, as the user, it's my responsibility to be doing maintenance and I shouldn't have let the pin slide all the way out. It's like, the pin shouldn't slide out. He told me I should be pushing the pin in before it slides out. It's like, it's not a part that should actually move and slide out. He was just not interested in helping at all. And I said, that's fine. I said, I cannot recommend your machine to anyone. I don't recommend any of your products because of your level of, or lack of level of customer care and service. So yeah, I'm completely and utterly over that machine, a complete and utter waste of money. I am debating whether just to offer it to anyone who wants to pay postage and you can have it and it can be your problem, or just to bin it, because it works, but it's one of those things where I now just don't even want to look at it. Like, it's just sitting in my space out the back and it's just terrible. But in that July vlog, I did say, if there were any Aussies out there who knew where I could get a decent hand press from within Australia that wasn't going to break the bank, could they let me know? Lee from Wicked Lee Goods, she was the only person that actually reached out to me, and she recommended that I get what is called an arbor press. And I did a lot of research into it, discovered that quite a number of people do in fact use this arbor press. More so people in America. So I saw Tammy from Walnut Creek using it. There was another one who actually makes parts to go with this machine. I can't remember what the name was. And there were a few different places actually did pop up. And I said, all right, we'll go ahead and order one. And I ordered myself one of these heavy duty arbor presses. And then what Lee has gone ahead and done for me, I'll see if I can pick it up again, that purple bit on the bottom, she's made me a little special presser foot to go on the bottom of the crank, so that there isn't as much heavy pressure pushing down on the 3D molds, which actually then stops them from breaking and cracking. And she made me a little special plate to go on the bottom of this press as well. Now today I have just done a video where I have taken this for a bit of a test drive. I have made a small batch of shower steamers over there, and I am in love with this machine. So thank you, Lee, for recommending it. I have made a video with a lot more detail on it, and what Lee has said for anyone else who is interested in getting themselves an arbor press to do the pressing of bath bombs, shower steamers, shampoo bars, or anything else that you want to press. So I'll try and get that I have to get that video up next week, because that's next week's video. It has just gone 9 o'clock. I need to go and get the door open, need to get some of my mess tidied up here. I've got soaps to unmold, soaps to put away. I've got a few more embeds to actually make, ready for next week. But I'm feeling pretty good, especially now that I have got a press that is working, and I also don't feel sore from having used it, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to go and get my door open. It is another dull, grey, overcast day out there, but there are people out in the street, so hopefully I can capture a few of them. But I need to go and get myself sorted out. I also need a drink. I actually didn't have a coffee this morning, so I might go and make myself one of those first. around in the shop, I decided that I would go ahead and make the monthly melt edit for next month. I wasn't going to make them until next week, but considering I haven't really been able to do many of the soaps that I wanted to do this week, I thought, well, we'll make the melts and then that frees up that section of time to make soaps. I think what I will be doing next week is I'll have a couple of days where I will actually come into the shop early, because they're all soaps I also want to film, and it's very, very difficult to do the filming in the shop, and, you know, keeping an eye on the soap, on the customer, and then, you know, you're halfway through pouring a soap and a customer walks in and wants to buy something. You can't just say, oh, just give me 10 minutes while I finish making this soap. So, you know, it's one of those things, I have to time it really, really well. And this week just has not been the week for making the soaps in the shop, which is a good thing. It's not been super, super busy, but it's been busy enough that it has hindered me. Anyhow, what I'm doing now, so I've made next month's monthly melt edit. Next month is all about spring florals, because September is here next month and that is the start of spring in Australia. So these are all floral ones. And there's a couple in here that I know are very popular scents. We've got the very, very stinky Japanese honeysuckle. I know everyone loves this Japanese honeysuckle. I think it's putrid. I'm sorry. I do. I think it's putrid, but I did get some in and I have made some. It smells like Hubba Bubba to me. I don't know why, but I know it's very popular, so that's in the range. And I have had people come in the shop today going, oh, what's that smell? It's like, oh, they're not ready yet. The red one is going to be Poppy Fields. I got in Black Opium type and I thought, I'm not sure. And then as soon as I put it into this melt, oh my goodness, I want to make some of the dry oil perfumes in this. So this is Poppy Fields. We've got Jasmine and Mint, so it's a nice fresh blend. Over here we've got Mimosa and Apple Blossom, and this one here is Japanese Cherry Blossom. It will actually go out as Cherry Blossom in the mix. I also did some black raspberry vanilla and some vanilla melts, but I will be calling the Japanese Cherry Blossom just plain Cherry Blossom. It's what I call the soap when I do it, because Japanese Cherry Blossom is too long for my little sticker things. And I don't want to have Japanese honeysuckle and Japanese cherry blossom. So we'll have the honeysuckle and the cherry blossom. So that is next month's melt edit. I only actually made 4 of each. I currently only have 4 subscribers for the melts. I used to have up to 6, but a couple of them, you know, for financial reasons and stuff, have had to pull out of doing it, and I completely understand. But I also need to pull back, and I can't just keep ending up with extras left over, struggling to sell extra bits and pieces. So I have only poured the 4, and if anyone else decides to join through the month, I know exactly how much fragrance and wax I need to actually pour each of them. So if one more person joins, I know how to, you know, make 1 each of those. It's a bit more not time consuming, but a little bit more difficult making only 1 as opposed to 4 or 6. But it's doable, and I just don't want any of the wastage anymore. You know, the labeling, the packaging, and everything like that, and then having the stock sitting there for ages while I wait for it to sell. So I've only made 4. Speaking of subscriptions, I have had a DIY body care renewal one come in. So let's go and pack Nicole's order. So for the DIY body care, it is the dry oil perfume, which is going out. When I made the video about the dry oil perfume and showing how I was making it, I did say that most of the orders that were going out were in these little rectangular bottles with a black sprayer on them. And then I would have one more or whatever after those few had gone, would be having the new bottles that I'm using in my store. The difference is the black sprayer bottles, you can actually undo the caps. These ones are actually stuck on there. I have done them so that as the orders came in, I was getting rid of the black lidded ones first, because these bottles I can actually use within my business, so I could have just taken the label off and sold it as Soy and Shea, whereas I couldn't really do that with the other bottles. So because Nicole has come in after all those others have gone, she's getting the one that is in the special one. Now I am actually going to put this into layers because I don't want the bottle to get broken. When you buy these bottles as part of Soy and Shea, which you'll see in a moment, they do actually come in a box, but because of the costing for DIY body care, I can't afford to put it in a box this time around. I'm sorry. What we will do as well, I don't usually do this, but we're going to put some paper in the bottom of the box for this to sit on, like so. Now, so that's the one with the C12C15 ingredient, and then I've got the little sample bottle which has the benzyl benzonate in it, which is the version I'm selling in the store. So we'll pop that in there, and we'll pop a little bit more of that paper shred around the box, like so. That's looking good. Now I do need to print up my little label to go with this one because it is different to Soy and Shea. So into the Mumbin app, and we want that label and print. It just says test it, tweak it, create something great, and that is all about this sort of formulator experience package. The idea behind it is that those who are subscribed get the physical product as I intended it to be. And then when you've got things like there's a difference in ingredients, people can actually see what the difference is, and then they can actually go ahead and tweak the recipe to see where it goes. Just gives people a better understanding of what's really going on with their formulas. What I have done for the DIY this time around, I do have this little sticker on here just explaining that one has got one ingredient, the other's got the other one, and also telling them exactly which fragrances I was using, because a few people did want to know what they were for their own product range. And there is also a note that says to people that, because I've revealed what the fragrance actually is, to refrain from using the names that I have worked really, really hard to come up with. When I was naming all my perfumes, I have basically gone through and double, triple, quadruple checked where I can to make sure that I am not stepping on anyone's toes when it comes to actually naming perfumes what they are, so that I don't get flagged for IP and all of that sort of stuff. Like, you have to be really, really careful naming your dupe perfumes so that you aren't misleading people. All right, we've almost got Nicole's all wrapped up here. I'm pretty sure this is going to be under the 250 grams, and will then be able to go as a small package. That's the downside for me. I'll wreck that piece of tape. That's the downside for me of actually sending it in this round bottle. All the others I knew actually went into the extra small satchel as we did it earlier today. So I'm just making sure that I can still get this in, because this perfume was a little bit more expensive than all of the other formulator experience ones, but I haven't charged any more for it. So I need to make sure I keep my postage down. And no, I haven't. It is over the 250, unfortunately. Oh no. So it's going to have to go as a small. That is my problem to deal with. I could have just put that into a small envelope. Oh well, we'll see what happens. Yeah. I could unwrap it and take some of the fill out, but I also don't want it to actually get broken while it is in transit. So we will just leave it like that, and we'll see what Australia Post says. All right, let's move on to the next order. All right, so the next order I'm going to pack is for Tara. It actually did come in last night while I was actually sitting watching a bit of telly when the phone went off. So both hubby and I did the happy dance. He does the happy dance as well when he hears that cha-ching go off. And sometimes I actually hear the counter in the front room counting up, and I'm sitting there going, yay, and he's going, what? And then the phone goes cha-ching. Oh, how did you know that was going to happen? He doesn't know I'm always listening for the thing to go. But Tara's did come through last night, and she always leaves me a lovely message down the bottom. And I was a little bit sad because she said that the Highland Moo Cow soaps that I sent last time, they became little donkeys because their horns broke off. And no one else has told me that the horns broke off, so it must just be because hers actually goes overseas. She uses a mail forwarding system, and it does get a little bit more manhandled than a lot of the other ones. But I'm really sorry that happened, Tara. If I do make any more and you get any more of them, I will have a look at how we can package them to stop those horns from falling off. Or maybe it's just a way that I need to start pouring into those molds to make sure that they do stay on there. So let's see what Tara has ordered. She's grabbed the last 2 of the undersea soap bars here, so I'll pop those in. She has also grabbed 2 of the new Dead Sea mud soaps. Where did I see that? There it is. She's also grabbed 2 of the Raspberry Field Claytanical soaps. I'm really interested to know, I don't want to break open into one of these big bars, but I did take home, I did the tester piece where I had one of the end pieces that I was using at home, and I've been using that one at home, and I've noticed where I said that the colour of the raspberry powder had disappeared and gone white, I've noticed over time as I'm using this bar, it's actually turning back to pink. Anyone who has had this Raspberry Field soap, have you found the same thing happening as well, or is it just me in my imagination and just hoping that it will come back pink at some stage? She has also grabbed 2 of the fig and olive hand creams, so we'll pop those in like so. Now she loves the Enchantment perfume. So last time she ordered all of the Discovery scents. I'm sure she ordered all of them, and she said that Enchantment is her favourite. So she has ordered the 50ml perfume. Now it does come in a box. This is what I was saying before. It does actually come in a box. But because I know that this is actually going to travel overseas, and the last few times Tara's orders have gone overseas, there's always been something that has sadly got damaged. They're just treating the parcels so roughly. I'm actually going to put some extra packaging into my little perfume box just to make sure that it doesn't move around too much, and it will hopefully get to Tara nice and safely. So Tara, when you open your box, it is going to be full of paper. Not everybody's will be full of paper like that, but hopefully, because now that doesn't rattle or shake or move, that will get to you nice and safe and sound. She's also ordered the 10ml in the Enchantment as well, and I'm going to do the same to this. Now again, this is not something I feel I'm going to have to do with the Australian orders. I do simply feel this is because it is going overseas, and for some reason they don't treat Tara's orders very nicely while they're going through the postal system. So I'm actually going to put some paper in there, and hopefully that is going to keep it a lot safer, and we'll get to her without breaking. This is one of the reasons I actually don't like using glass within my business, but what else do you put perfume in? So we've got that one in there. Now just to be doubly sure, I do have just a little bit of bubble wrap here as well that I'm just going to wrap around this box. I mean, she got the Scent Discovery perfumes last time, and she didn't say anything about those bottles getting broken. So I really do hope, Tara, that this one gets to you nice and safe and sound. What we might actually do to really help with that is we might move it so that the glass is in the middle of the box and not on the ends where the where a lot of the shock input goes. She's also ordered the activated charcoal face soap, so we'll put that one in there. And as a Pamper Club member, she's also got the 5ml sampler as part of her set. And again, she chose another one of the Enchantment. I'm going to put it in that way so that the bottle is against all that softness there. And now we're going to put some paper shred in here. And we're going to get that in and making sure that the box doesn't move around, and that hopefully this one will get to you without any breakages. I'll be really, really sad if this one does as well. Sorry, just had someone come into the shop to buy a heat pack. They've been selling really well today. It's funny how some days they sell really, really well and then other days I don't sell any at all. But we've almost got this one all packed. I have popped in a pen from those new ones, picked a blue one. Well, it's kind of blue. It's a light greeny blue because that is Tara's favourite colour. Got a little ray of sunshine and a little sampler. Let's pop in the little thank you note. That's feeling very soft and cushiony. So hopefully this one's going to get there. And what's really, really confusing about it, they must have changed their carriers or something, because Tara, she's had 48 orders from me. Thank you so much, Tara. That is absolutely mammoth, the amount of orders you've put through. And Tara's ordered all sorts of things from me over that time, and she always orders my Christmas soaps with those little decorative gnomes on, and other decorative soaps as well. And as far as I know, she's never actually told me, none of those have got their broken, but the last few orders for some reason are getting very, very roughly treated on their way over to her, which is really, really sad that this happens. I know we're always, you always see horror stories out there about the postal system. There was one on the news the other day, or I think it was last night when we were watching it, and someone was saying that they were trying to find their mail. It said it had been delivered and all this sort of stuff, and they couldn't find it. And when they went and looked at their security footage, the mailman didn't even look like they'd got out of their van. They'd literally got the parcel, thrown it, and it ended up in a tree. Like, you can't make this stuff up. It's just really sad. And like, we've got a couple at the moment who keep leaving the parcels right down the bottom of our property where the letterbox is, right on the street where people are walking by, out in the exposed weather and stuff like that, rather than bringing it up to the front door where it's covered and, away from the public eye and stuff like that. It's just pure laziness. But I've said to my hubby, I said, surely these delivery drivers are not delivering their own parcels. They can't all be delivering their own. And surely these delivery drivers would expect that their parcels are treated with some sort of level of respect, and not tossed out the window and into a tree, or just left out in the open blazing sun or wind or something like that. It's absolutely disgraceful how these people are actually treating other people's property. Because you think, well, wouldn't you want your mail to be treated with a little bit more respect than what they are doing? I don't know, if you don't want the job, if you don't want to get out of your van and take a parcel up to the door, I can tell you there are plenty of other people out there who do want a job and would quite happily get out of the van and take the parcel up to the door. So if you don't want the job, give it to someone who does. That's my little high horse for this month's vlog. It's really frustrating. We've always been pretty lucky with our delivery drivers. We've always had some really good ones, and I've always had some really good Australia Post ones. The one we've got at the moment, she's not terrible, but she's not very personable either, and she actually got really quite shirty with us and has been so recently. After I actually lodged a complaint about her, I had some boxes of wax delivered. I get it, they're 20 kilos, they're heavy, and we are on a sloped driveway, so I do get it. But these, I had 5 of these boxes, so yeah, there's 100 kilos. I get it, I really do understand that. But she backed up onto our driveway and put all of these boxes of wax across the front of the garage door. So they were technically under the eave of the house, but they were then exposed to the sun, exposed for anyone to actually see them. And when hubby got home, he couldn't get in the garage. He had to park the car, move all these boxes of wax so he could then park the car. And it was just like, that's not acceptable. So I actually did lodge a complaint, because it does say, how was your delivery and stuff. And I did actually lodge a complaint and said, you know, the way that these were actually put, we had the photo, I said, it was in the sun, exposed to the street, and when my husband got home, he couldn't get into the garage. Had we had someone who wasn't able to move those boxes, he wouldn't have been able to get into the garage, and that's just not good enough. I understand the boxes were heavy, I understand there were a lot of boxes there. She should have a trolley. If she can't carry the boxes from the van to the front door, she should have a trolley as part of health and safety. And ever since, and you know, that was me also having to go at Australia Post for not providing the adequate working materials as well. And the next time she arrived to the house, oh, she was not pleasant. She really wasn't pleasant. And I thought, well, no, you've actually done the wrong thing. You really have, because the parcels did say to leave by the front door, not in front of the garage door. But anyhow, that's my high horse. And it's not going to get fixed anytime soon, so I'm just going to have to deal with that. Anyhow, battery's almost flat, so I'm going to go and do a little bit of recharge, and while it's doing that, I'm going to have some lunch, and then I'm going to sit and continue making little embeds. I'm not going to show that one too much, because that's one of the Christmas ones, and like I said the other day, I do want some element of surprise, because ever since I did start doing the little gnomes on the soaps, I see so many people now doing it, and I'm always trying to stay 2 steps ahead to try and bring out something new and exciting each year that no one else has actually got. So I'm not going to show that one too much, but I'm hungry. And I need a drink as well. It has been quite a good, productive day. It's actually been a better week than I thought it was. It felt really, really quiet this week, but I'm actually very happy with the takings that I took. I'm above where I should be as an absolute minimum to be able to pay the rent weekly. I have to pay it monthly, but I still look at it as a weekly thing, and I'm actually above that, which is nice, because last week was just pitiful. Like I said, we had hardly any orders come through online, and then there was hardly any sales in the shop, and I actually needed those online sales to top up the shop sales for that week's rent, put it, you know, aside in the bank account. So it is nice that I've been able to recoup that this week. Hopefully next week will be another good one, and we'll actually finish the month off really well. People are starting to think about doing their Christmas shopping, and we've got a few more tourists up here, which I'm actually surprised about, because petrol went up and all that sort of stuff, and a lot of the shops are saying that they've noticed a real decrease in the number of people that are shopping. I was approached a couple of weeks ago by a couple of people who run shops up the street, and they came in the shop, and I was like, oh gosh, here we go again. And they came in and they said that they wanted to try and start sorting something out, because they just felt that things were changing, the shops weren't being given a voice, and yet it's the shops that make Caloundra what it is, and that they were arranging a bit of a meeting to happen and to bring all the retailers in. Apparently they went to go and see 60 retail shops along the street and down the little side streets as well. I can tell you 60 people did not turn up to this meeting. I said to hubby, I really should go because I'm constantly saying that we're getting left out of stuff. We don't know anything. I don't know who to go to, you know, and things are really bad. So I really should actually go to this meeting, go and introduce myself, go and learn a few new things and that sort of thing. And so hubby said, I'll come with you. And I went, okay. So I went. There were two other people in there who weren't actually retail people. One of them writes a local magazine. And I don't know what the other lady, who she was, but she seemed to have something to do with the Caloundra area. And there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of us. There were less than 20 of us. Out of the 60 retail shops in the street, there were less than 20 of us there, which was really, really disappointing because I'm hearing a lot of people saying how bad it is and that we've not got a voice, and then they don't turn up to these meetings. This is the first time I've actually been invited to one, which is why I thought I'm going to go. And I actually learned a fair bit there. I think I've mentioned it in previous years. They do this Christmas tree thing up at there's a really old-fashioned cinema right up the top of the street. It's absolutely lovely to go to, really cheap as well. And every year they do the Christmas tree arcade, and all the businesses decorate a Christmas tree all the businesses decorate a Christmas tree to go into the arcade, and you put little bits that represent your business. People go around and they learn what businesses are in the area. And the first year I saw it, it's how do I get involved for next year? And nobody would tell me how to get involved. And when I heard that it was happening again last year, I tried finding out, and nobody would respond to me of how I got involved with this Christmas tree. I tried the council sites, I tried all the different various social sites for the area, just could not find out a thing. I asked other shops, we don't know. I thought, well, obviously for the cool end of the street. So I gave up again last year, and this year I actually found out who runs it. They say, you just turn up. It's no, you can't just turn up and put a tree up. Surely you must be registering so they know where to put the trees and everything. Apparently the person that does run it is very relaxed about it. And I now know who runs it. It's going to be on the 13th of November that we get to put our application, get our trees and stuff like that. So this year, hopefully, I'll be able to get a tree. And they were also talking about some of the trade alliances and things that are in the area and how it works with Chamber of Commerce and all this sort of stuff. And apparently there has been a little retailers association thing, but it's not been run correctly for the last couple of years, and some of the other retailers have pulled them up on it to say you've not actually been running this legally, and they've actually disbanded this this thing that was there. It didn't have, you had to have the treasurer, the head chair and all that sort of stuff. And apparently they didn't have everything in place, all this money that was in it, and it's just not being run right. So that's now been dissolved, and the money is getting, who knows, put out somewhere. And now it goes through the Chamber of Commerce, who are really funny. They tell you they've got nothing to do with council, and yet they are a government body at the end of the day, and they'll have something to do with council when it suits them. But anyhow, we'll have the Chamber of Commerce, we'll have council, and then these two retailers who've been in the street for a while, we have now actually, they've put together, and we've all joined, those of us who were there, who knows about the others, they've put together a little group for the Caloundra retailers. So this excludes the restaurants. This is just for small retail shops, and it is for us to actually work as one voice. So we had something called Beach Fest go through in May, and it was just an absolute schmozzle. It affected so many retailers in the street. Really, really affected how we could get to work, how we could trade. And we had nowhere to go to. You went to council to say, hey, these road closures are ridiculous. It's that's not us. You need to talk to the organiser. You go to the organiser and council approved it. No one wanted to take responsibility. And you get that whole, well, you're the only person that's complaining, even though you know lots of others have complained as well. So they've actually now formed it so that we actually speak as one voice, which will hopefully get us actually heard. They were saying things like there were flyers dropped off a couple of weeks ago for another meeting that was, all the retailers were invited to. I said, I didn't get a flyer. Nothing was put through my door. And what they've kind of come to the conclusion of is that since the information centre closed just over in the Parklands, they used to be responsible for handing the flyers out, and they would do the whole area. Now whoever's doing it is just lazy, and they are not handing these flyers out to all the shops. So only a couple of people actually got this flyer, and others of us are going, we weren't aware of it. So we were trying to get this sort of stuff fixed so that there is a central place that we can come to get information from, because nobody knows what's going on in the area. There's too many fingers in the pie and nobody knows what's happening. So we're trying to bring it all into one place, and I think it's going to work. Whether it's going to bring more business into town is another thing, but the fact that we've now actually got a voice that we can go to council and go, hey, these road closures aren't working for us, we need to investigate this. This is coming up, can we suggest that we do such and such? And hopefully we can actually start working with the local area, and trading can actually improve, because a lot of the traders that were there have said that their sales are down. So I'm really quite happy with the way this week has actually panned out. It's been a bit of a mishmash. I have got some things done that I wanted to get done. There's a few things I wasn't able to get done. I'm just going to have to reschedule next week. This morning on my way into work, I actually did I stopped off at Bunnings, which is one of our local hardware stores. These moulds that George had made for me, I absolutely love them. So these are the moulds I had made for these ones. Absolutely love them, but I do tend to favour my older moulds, which I discovered these liners fit into if I've got a shim in there. And the reason being is that I noticed that on a couple of these moulds, the wood, because these are made, through the men's shed where they're using up bits of wood and stuff that they've got, I've noticed that some of these, it's not going to show on the camera, but some of these actually aren't flat pieces of wood, and they've got some bumps in them. And if you've made anything in moulds, whether it be your baking or resin or soaps or anything, you will know that silicone moulds will pick up any imperfections that are around them. So I actually do find that sometimes when I make my soaps in these moulds, the bottom of my soaps are like this. So I stopped off this morning at Bunnings because I came in early. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to stop there. I've been meaning to do it for weeks, and I went and grabbed myself some more core flute. It's actually out the back. Grabbed myself some core flute, and I'm going to actually make some long skinny pieces just to sit in the bottom of these moulds, so that when I come in next week, I will actually have 8 moulds and 2 slabs that I can really get on with the whole soap making thing and get everything done and going. But while I was in there, I stopped off and got Pepper some new toys as well. I couldn't help myself. When we first got her, I will be quiet in a moment. When we first got her, and we did the whole thing of taking her to Bunnings to get her kind of socialised and that sort of thing, we took her down the dog aisle, and they had these little moo cows. So they're a little rubber moo cow thing. They are meant for small dogs. They're literally about this big. But it was one of the very first toys outside the tennis balls that we picked up for her at the shelter. It was one of the very first toys that we ever actually bought her. And when she was in Bunnings and I picked this toy up, I gave it to her in the cart, and she loved it, and she has loved these moo cows ever since. But because they are designed for little dogs, she tends to go through them quite quickly. They'll last a few months and then she'll manage to bust them, and then she gets really upset because they don't squeak anymore. So we always have a drawer of spare moo cows. She's got about 3 in the basket at the moment that haven't been destroyed. The older she's getting, the longer they're lasting. So eventually she'll get one and it will actually just last. But they're cheap. They're like $3. They're not going to last for very long. So I did actually stop and buy her some moo cows this morning. So she's going to be very happy when I get home. Talking of which, I am going to head off now. Oh, no, that's me. Okay, I thought I had another order that had just come through, but it's just my PayPal for the Australia Post. I've got my orders over there. I did get William his Pamper Club subscription renewed today as well. I hadn't realised it had been another year since then. So on your next order, William, you will be getting your renewal Pamper Club pack in that order as well. I've got that up on my wall ready to go. But I've got those parcels there ready to take home with me. I'm going to head home, go and put my feet up, go and have a cup of tea, I think, and then get on with editing the video. I hope you've enjoyed coming along with me today, this week. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up, any comments down below, and until the next video, I hope you have a good one. I'll see you then. Bye.